Is Donald Trump a neocon? Are there people around him who are neocons? Or has he secretly been planning to go to war since he ran for president? Why is Iran coming up now? Seems like every few years, oh, they're gonna get a bomb, they're gonna get a nuclear weapon, we gotta do something, right? Well, I decided to look into what kind of evidence there was. The International Atomic Energy Agency was formed under Eisenhower after he gave a speech called Atoms for Peace. I think there are about 15 or 16 countries that have nuclear weapons, and they wanted to keep it that way. So, under the United Nations, they formed the IAEA. They're not completely under the UN. The IAEA couldn't find evidence of weapons of mass destruction. Well, the IAEA had just finished a disarmament of Iraq that had begun in the early 90s and ended in 1998. After that Gulf War, we did a disarmament. So all uranium, all materials, any components were removed. And they actually do have ways of verifying through instruments how much uranium has been enriched. When you enrich uranium more than 60%, that means, I just found out, that it is not for peaceful purposes. However, you still haven't made the components for a weapon. Iran has not, allegedly, but it only takes 3 weeks, according to the head of the IAEA. The current head is Rafael Grossi. And the governing council of the IAEA, they voted to censure or to discipline Iran for being in breach of the charter of the IAEA, as well as the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, which was signed in 1968 by the then leader of Iran, I believe the Shah, Reza Pahlavi, who was deposed in the Islamic Revolution by the Ayatollah Khomeini, who is now deceased. Now it's Khamenei, who is supreme leader. I just think the fact that there was actually a censure of Iran, and Iran's leaders are saying, we're not building a weapon, but they're also telling that agency, but we do have factions of our government that really, really want to. That is concerning. All I know is this looks much more like a textbook case of what a president would need to deal with regarding nuclear proliferation than the situation in 2003, which was manufactured by, it turns out later, an unnamed source. No, Saddam is actually trying to procure new uranium, says our unnamed source in Niger. It was then acknowledged that this source was not very reliable and should probably not have been relied on for the entire reason for going to war, circumventing the IAEA and its then leader, Mohammed el-Baradei, and doing a preemptive strike. I think it's a lot different. President Trump has very few choices in this very difficult situation.